All right, let's jump in. We're going to travel back in time about 20 years to talk about a piece of tech you've probably never even heard of, or at least haven't thought about in a long, long time. The extranet. It was supposed to be a total revolution. And then, poof, it kind of just vanished. But believe me, the story of its rise and fall holds some of the most important lessons for any business today that's trying to get an edge with technology. Okay, so first, let's just paint a picture of what things were like before the internet completely changed the game. Trying to connect with your business partners, your suppliers, your vendors, your big customers was slow, it was really expensive, and honestly, it was just a huge pain.
You basically had two options. On one side, you had the old school stuff, endless phone calls, stacks of faxes, and actual physical mail. And on the other side, the super high-tech solution was something called electronic data interchange, or EDI. Now, EDI was powerful. It let different companies' computers talk directly to each other. But, and this is a big but, it was a nightmare to set up. It needed these clunky, proprietary networks and custom software for every single partner. That made it insanely expensive and rigid, so only the absolute biggest companies could afford it. It created this kind of two-tiered system. But then, of course, the internet showed up, and it promised to completely level that playing field. Suddenly, there was a new, much more democratic way for businesses to connect with each other. And this new era was built on the extranet. So what the heck was an extranet? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a private digital bridge. It cleverly used all the public internet technology we were starting to get used to, but it used it to connect a company's own internal network, their internet, directly and securely to their trusted partners. It was basically a password-protected website where you could share info, check on orders, and work together, and all you needed was a web browser. And this is why everybody got so unbelievably excited about it. The price tag. Setting up one of these digital bridges with a partner was estimated to cost just $1,000. Suddenly, this was affordable, it was accessible, and it ran on technology that people already understood. Now compare that $1,000 to the old way. Setting up that exact same connection using that complex EDI system, that could cost you $50,000 per partner. That's 50 times more expensive. You can see why the extranet felt like a total game changer. It promised to give every single business the kind of connection power that, just a few years before, was only for the giants of the industry. So the promise was just immense. Businesses everywhere were looking at this and seeing a future of seamless, efficient collaboration. But as they all rushed to pour money into it, they started to find out that the reality, well, it was a lot messier, and frankly, a lot more painful than they expected. I mean, look at the list of benefits they were expecting. Strategically, you'd win new business and speed everything up. Operationally, you'd slash costs, improve cash flow, and tighten up your inventory. Tactically, you'd build fierce customer loyalty. I mean, on paper, this thing was a silver bullet. But here's where the story takes a huge twist. Research from that time uncovered a really shocking number. A staggering 80 to 90% of all IT projects, and that includes extranets, were failing to deliver the results they promised. The technology was there, the potential was obvious, but for most companies, it just wasn't working. And that leads us to the most important question in this whole story. If the technology itself was so revolutionary and so cheap, what was going so wrong? Well, it turns out the answer had almost nothing to do with the technology at all. You see, the companies that actually succeeded, the ones that got those amazing results, they understood a fundamental truth. You couldn't just buy the tech and plug it in. You had to fundamentally change how your business actually worked. Success wasn't about installation. It was all about integration. The real secret sauce wasn't technical at all. Success came down to things inside the company, like having a corporate culture that was actually open to sharing information and a corporate strategy that was really truly aligned with what the technology could do. And externally, it meant you had to deeply collaborate with your partners to make sure everyone was bought in and working together. And when a company got it right, wow, the impact was transformative. The successful ones used the extranet to rethink their entire business, from how they sourced materials and ran their operations, all the way to how they marketed their products and took care of their customers. It wasn't just a new tool, it was a completely new way of doing business, from start to finish. And they didn't try to do it all at once. This wasn't some big bang project. The winners were smart. They started small, they picked one high priority area, proved it could work,
got some really impressive results, and then they used that success to gradually expand it across the rest of the company. It was a strategic, careful transformation, not just another piece of software they rolled out. Okay, so this all builds up to the biggest question of all for any business, then and now. Can a new technology all by itself actually give you a lasting competitive advantage? The story of the Extranet gives us a crystal clear answer. So for an advantage to be truly sustainable, it has to pass 4 tests. It has to be valuable, rare, hard to imitate, and you can't be able to substitute it with something else. So let's run the Extranet through that. Was it valuable? Absolutely, it cut costs. Was it rare? Nope, not at all. Anyone could buy it. Was it non-substitutable? Nah, you could still use the old ways like fax or EDI if you had to. But that third one, was it hard to imitate? The tech itself was easy to imitate, but the successful implementation of it, changing the culture, the strategy, the relationships, that was incredibly difficult for a competitor to just copy. And that right there is the core lesson of this entire cautionary tale. The real advantage never, ever comes from the tool itself. It comes from your company's unique, messy, complicated, and hard-to-copy capability to weave that tool into the very fabric of how you operate. That's the thing your competitors can't just go out and buy off the shelf. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Look at all the common tech your business uses right now. Your CRM, your Slack or Teams, maybe even the AI tools you're experimenting with. The story of the Extranet teaches us that the real, lasting advantage isn't going to come from adopting the next shiny new thing. It's going to come from answering a much tougher question. How are we using the technology we already have in a unique way that no one else can?